neatly in your trunk, backseat, or closet, so you can take it everywhere. And it's only available right here. Order yours today and get a free wheelchair case, a $50 value, yours free. The Feather Chair, the world's lightest wheelchair, is just $4.99 with easy payments as low as $16 a month. Sorry, no Medicare or insurance accepted. So call right now to order yours.
800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. That's 800-823-5826.
Wilfred Brimley for Loafing Dog.
I'm Wilfred Brimley for Loafing Dog. You know, when I get the hankering for a hot dog, I go to Cleveland, Texas. Just a couple blocks off the square, they got Loafing Dog. They got the Neely Dog, the Mary Sunshine Dog, the Casey Dog, and the Shirley Dog. Why, they even got the Pacer Dog, the Brooklyn Dog, and the Jim Dog. Can't forget the Shane Dog, or the Joy Dog, and the Monty Dog. I like that fool. The Nakia Dog and the Braxton Dog round things off. Why, they even got a kids menu too.
Loafing Dog, 208 East Chambers Street, Cleveland, Texas. Lunch, catering, or takeout, plus outdoor seating. Phone numbers 817-556-1040.
This is Wilford Brimley. And don't forget, Loafing Dog won't give you diabetes.
Out of dead carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the Floor Store in Cleveland, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you for the Floor Store. Whether it's carpet, tile, wood flooring, or real wood laminate, the Floor Store can cover all of your flooring needs. Located at 405 West Henderson Street in Cleveland, Texas, owner Brent Harris can help. Shower tile, tub surrounds, even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The Floor Store, they got you covered.
If you're trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581.
Hey, there's something you forgot to do. It sure is hot. Are you sweating like a dog? Wait, what? Dogs don't sweat. Oh no, you forgot to get your window tinted. Whether it's the kitchen window that sits in the sun for the hottest part of the day, or you just got new wheels, call Sharp Window Tinting in Burleson. 817-615-9379, or look them up on the web, sharpwindowtint.com.
Joco Community Radio. Listen live at tunein.com.
Oh, there we not allow. Now you guys probably hear me. Good morning. Oh my goodness. All right. So not allow you to be able to, stay in that anger space. So a lot of times there was a time in my life when I was, I'd get frustrated. I would get, um, in a state of mind of frustration, stress, and so it would come out, it would be visible. And it still happens, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm only trying to progress as a human being, as a person, and be my best self. And good morning, Tiffany. Yes, I know I had myself muted. And in the beginning, if you missed that, we were taking some deep breaths in and deep breaths out. So if you want to do that now, that's perfectly fine. I apologize for having myself muted in the very beginning. Silly me. However, back to what I was talking about. So, breath work is what really got me into being able to calm myself, to calm my intentions, to calm my thought process. Uh, a lot of times, my brain personally moves very quickly. And so I think that's part of the reason why I'm about to share all the things that I have done in my life. I've done a lot of things. I've put myself out there in so many different uh, spaces, so many different career opportunities. I saw an opportunity, I went for it. I never wanted to stay stagnant or stay still. And a lot of times, again, that's because my brain is moving very quickly, right? So Drew Myers, Drew Myers, sorry about that. Drew Myers was on my show not that long ago, and he had expressed to me that I need to have a show where it's just about all the things that I've done, all the certifications, all of the education, the opportunities that I had and that I had done in my life. And so this is one of those things. So I'm super excited to be able to share all of this with you guys today. So one of the things let me go with from the beginning. Okay, so from the beginning, when I was younger, I, um, oh, things are changing on us. I was um, very I was a little bit of a chunkier young lady, and I was not fit. I didn't really know much about being fit. I didn't have a whole lot of friends. I had friends, but I had like different groups of friends. I wasn't really with one. I had one best friend. Let me put it that way. I had one best friend, and then I had one other best friend that was named Christina, who was really awesome in my life too. And I really wanted to present myself with those in my life that meant something to me, that had the same kind of mindset that I have. And even at that young of an age, that's where I was. That's what I wanted, right? So I feel like I was very positive, bubbly, probably why my nickname is Bubbles. Yes, you're welcome. So, but yeah, so I really enjoyed my youth and just learning and experiencing things and having opportunities from different groups of people. Oh man, I could that's going to be another conversation. I will talk about my high school days another time. Right now we're just going to talk about careers and certifications and things that I've done. So after high school, or right before high school, I started working out a lot. I had a Marine boyfriend at the time, and he really got me into fitness and health and well-being and a well mindset. So I did. I started working out. Well, then I ended up getting my certification in aerobics instructor to be an aerobics instructor with 24-hour fitness in California. And I loved that job. I absolutely love that job. I loved being fit. I loved working out. And some of you might be like, oh my gosh, this girl is crazy. How can anybody love working out? I did. I absolutely loved it. It was just this thrill, this motivation. My fast brain really needed it, right? I needed something to get some of that additional fast pacedness out, if you will. And so I did. I started teaching aerobic classes, and I worked out at the front desk because I love people. I absolutely love people then. I still do. And I just love talking to people, interacting with people, getting to know people. I always ask questions. I wasn't one to judge anybody. I just really wanted to really know who this person was. Like, what do you do? How do you do it? How do you live life? I was very curious, and I love that about myself. And that's why I did a lot of the things that I did too. So after becoming an aerobics instructor, I went into, oh my gosh, okay. So I moved to Texas. Okay. No, then I moved to Chicago. I take that back. I moved from California to Chicago. I got married. And then I was working as a gate agent at Midway Airport in Chicago. So that was interesting. And as a gate agent, you have to bring the gate to the airplane. And so having to drive and maneuver that was never easy for me. I really struggled with it, especially in the beginning. And I finally got it down, and I was able to do it by myself without someone having to be present with me to help me and guide me to guide it to the aircraft. So that was a really fun job. I got to talk to people while they were standing in line. I got to know people, where they were going, where they were traveling to. Was it vacation? I just got to learn and get to know some very, very interesting people. And then also, you have where the weather is not so great, so they couldn't fly out. So I'd have those angry, temperamental individuals that would come at me, and I just gave them a sense of calm, like, hey, I can't control the weather. You can't control the weather. This is just where we're at. So, we can make the best of it, the best we can. Here's a certificate for a free meal. Go ahead, knock yourself out. Uh, so that was my mindset when I was working as a gate agent. After being a gate agent, that's when we moved back to Texas, me and my now ex-husband. And I was a stay-at-home mom. And as a stay-at-home mom, I was still doing things. Believe it or not, I was teaching classes, like free classes, to a lot of the other moms. We'd get together, and I made my own mom group. I had a mom group that I was attending. I just wasn't comfortable with it because I felt like they were singling new women that were trying to come in and be a part of the group. I felt like they were singling them out, and so I started my own mom group with the ones that nobody else wanted in their group. And we taught our kids at younger ages how to hold a pencil, how to write their name. They weren't even in school yet. And so our kids were phenomenal when they went to pre-K because they knew how to say their alphabet. They knew how to hold a pencil correctly, how to write their name, and how to spell their name. And especially my little Nathan, who is now 18 years old. And that was a great experience for me, just getting to understand how other moms are functioning, how their marriages were working out. And let me tell you, I learned some serious life lessons in that stage of my life. I learned that, it's not okay to talk badly about your spouse. It's really better to, and if you do say something, say, you're just getting your frustration out. You're just getting some verbiage out. Men do this too, but just to make sure that you're not doing it so much that people feel like that's not the right marriage for you to be in, because then you start getting those negative thoughts in your head, right? Because you're listening to your friends, but all your friends are listening to is that negativity. So one of my life lessons that I learned in being a stay-at-home mom and having my own mom's group was knowing how to talk about my spouse, knowing how to not talk about my spouse and the things that can go wrong in that. Now, I didn't learn that right away. It took a little time, of course, but when I did, I got it. And then, so while I was a stay-at-home mom, there was some times where I had two boys, and both of my boys were getting a little bit older in age. And so I decided to kind of see about going back to work and start making additional income because we were, kind of strapped for cash, and I wanted us to be able to do more and get to do more with our kids. So I went to work at Chili's and in Cleburne, Texas. And I worked at the Cleburne, Texas Chili's for a little bit, and I loved being a waitress. I took some of my waitressing that I did in my youth, and I would tie a balloon to the back of my apron and walk around the restaurant and just like put smiles on little kids' faces. And if they were mad or crying, I would, do everything that I could to make them cheer up and smile. And I'd make my tables laugh and smile. And so I did have quite a few regulars that loved and enjoyed coming to see me. And then I had those that were very demanding and sometimes missed some of their order, and I corrected it the best that I could. So it just life lessons, right? Like these all are life lessons that I learned. throughout life. And it was it was fun. I loved being a waitress. I loved being able to serve other people and to put a smile on their face and to shine. Your smile is what creates others to smile, right? Even if you think you have an ugly smile, you don't have an ugly smile. Nobody has an ugly smile. So smile, and it creates a different atmosphere, a different tone with others. And I learned that more importantly when I was waitressing. So after that, I decided that I wanted to go back to school. And because I had gone to Angelina College, I missed that when I was pregnant with my first son. I was going and attending college, getting my basics out. And then when I got back to Texas, that's when I decided to, or no, sorry, while I was in Texas, after my son was, I think he was 4, and my other son was 2, and I decided to go back to school. So I went to Hill College, and I wanted to be an EMT. I wanted the thrill and the excitement of emergencies, of being able to, again, serve and help somebody else. I've always had it in me to want to help somebody else live their best life, or to be able to help them in any way I could. I wanted to help others. So I was an EMT. Well, I went to the EMT school. I didn't become an EMT. And there were some reasons behind that. And we'll get into that a little, maybe another day. But it was such a fun experience getting to meet all of these different, you know, men and women that get out there on a daily basis and are fast. You have to be quick, right? You've got somebody, if it's a wreck or if it was a fire or whatever it may have been. I interned with the hospital at JPS Hospital, which was that was rough. I saw my first human being that had no life in him anymore. He had had a heart attack. When the EMTs came in, there was a young lady that was still giving him CPR, sitting on top of him, giving him CPR. And I could see when they were rolling him in that he was already blue in the face. At this point, I was like, I think this man is dead. Are we going to be able to revive him? And unfortunately, we were not. I watched the doctors have to tell the family members that he was not with us anymore. And that was sad. It was rough, but that was part of life. And it was just something. It was an experience. It was definitely a huge experience to be in that room that day and to see that, and to, because how often do you really actually get to see that, right? Unless you've experienced it within yourself, a family member, you don't really get that in your life. And so I did. And I saw a baby be born. I was on the ambulance multiple times, and that was fun for me. I loved it. I loved getting their blood pressure, making sure their heart was, monitoring their heart, constantly letting the EMT that was, definitely certified and able to really be there, giving them that information, that insight on what we had going on while they were operating or working on something else, putting an IV in or whatnot. And that was huge. That was a huge experience. I loved every minute of it. And I got to be on the fire truck. That was awesome. I got to meet other firemen and get to experience actually staying at a firehouse for one night. That was really awesome. That was really awesome. It turns out, though, that that was not the right career for me, just due to the simple fact that my ex-husband at the time was not too thrilled with that being a career choice for me. So it didn't happen. But that's okay. I got to experience that. That was the coolest part, in my opinion. After after I was an EMT, let's see, I was oh gosh, what did I do after that? Okay, so I went through a divorce. That's right. After I went through a divorce, I, picked myself up. It was a good thing. I it needed to happen. Unfortunately, sometimes marriages just don't work, and I didn't feel like I was being treated with respect and with the love that I deserved. So that's why I ended up breaking off that marriage and being my own single mom self. So I was looking for a job. I remember I was looking for a job, and I was in the newspaper. I think I was sitting at my mom's house, and I was looking at the newspaper, and I saw on there they were looking for a dance instructor, and you had to go, a ballroom dance instructor, mind you. I love dancing. I have been dancing since I was 2 years old. I would watch somebody dance and I would pick it up and I would do it. I absolutely freaking loved it. So dancing for me has always been a passion of mine. So when I saw this, I was like, I don't know if I can make a lot of money with this being a single mom, but I want to go try and do the tryout. I was like, what's it gonna hurt? So I went to the ballroom dancing tryouts where there were 20 other individuals, a couple of different men, and then majority women that were there for the position. So it was a week experience or no, was it 3 days? I think it was like 3 days or a week. I can't remember now. Oh my gosh, it was a long time ago, guys. Uh, but yeah, so I went and I was having a blast, and I was picking it up really quick because that's just how I was with dancing. I love dancing. So I could watch somebody again and just be able to mimic that and do it. And I got the job. Out of 20 people, I was the last one of the last three standing, and I ended up getting the position. So I was a ballroom dance instructor for a couple of years. And I absolutely loved ballroom dancing. I want to go back to just doing it as, just to do it for fun. That's on my bucket list, to go back to ballroom and do more ballroom in my life because I miss it. However, that job there was, I had spouses that were coming in that needed to, get a little bit more of their fire going back in their marriage. And I was a counselor there pretty much for the most part, having to express to the woman, this is where we give up the control and let the man have the control in your dancing, not in your life. And I always reiterated that, not in your life, but right now we're going to hold back. And I would say, you're going to be the ditzy blonde that just follows. That's what you're going to do. And they absolutely love that. They got a kick out of it. They laughed about it. And the lady that owned it was the one that taught me that. And I love that she taught me that, because it really did bring out more of that in the woman, for them to really understand why they had to let go and just follow, right? Just follow your man. Trust him that he's got you, that he knows the movements and he knows where he's going to take you. And so a lot of times that was some things that I had said to the spouses, to the wives, so they would be able to follow their man. And it was a beautiful experience watching them laugh and and then there was some that would get mad or frustrated. Oh, I can't get the step. And then I would have to come in and say, hey, let's take a breather. Let's take a breather. Let's calm down. It's okay. This is why you're here, to learn how to do these steps. And don't overthink it. Just feel it. I would tell a lot of them, just feel it. And that's a good life lesson right there. We need to feel things in life. We need to. It's okay to feel in life. It's okay to have feelings. It's okay to have emotions. And it's okay to trust and to really give your all. And I think that is something that I 100% learned while being a ballroom dance instructor. I learned that, and it was beautiful, very beautiful experience. And man, oh gosh, this is challenging to talk about yourself 100%. And okay, so I got more for ballroom dancing. Man, we had nights where we would have a potluck, and we would have all the couples, all of our clientele that came in to learn how to dance. And it was called God and Dance. And we learned how to really just have fun with our dancing now, right? Like, we got to have the couples out there, we played the music, and they just got out there and they just did their thing. Whether they were messing up, whether they were beginners or not, they loved it. And we had such a great time. And I remember my first showcase, I did salsa with one of the other male dance instructors, and he taught me the routine and the dance, and it was so exciting. And having my first showcase was super exciting. And I absolutely loved that experience, because it just got me out there to be able to really show what I had learned as a dance instructor myself. And I had gotten up to my bronze level, which your gold, of course, is the highest level that you can achieve. And I was already at my bronze and going on and moving on to my gold. So my goal is, and one of my bucket lists in my life is to get and achieve that gold. So I will be there. And I'll let you know when I get there. So that was a really big experience. That was huge. I loved it. And from there, being a single mom, I I realized that I maybe needed a little bit more of an income because things were getting a little bit slower there at the studio. So I decided to look for another job, and I became, I forgot one of the jobs that I did. Oh my goodness. I was a kennel tech in high school. My dad got me a job because I loved animals. I love everybody and everything, I guess. What can I say? But I went as a kennel tech. And so I found this other job that was, as an adult now, a single mom, that they were looking for, somebody to work at the office at this veterinarian clinic. And since I'd already had some experience there, I decided I'd go ahead and try that. Well, I started working in the office at first, but then I really wanted to be a tech. I had that EMT experience, and how else not to use, I could use that in being a vet tech, right? So, and work with animals instead of people. And so I did. I ended up going and moving up into a vet tech position. I got to do all the dentals, which was so cool. I really, they did, like the women that I worked with at this veterinarian clinic, they were not keen on doing dentals. They did not like doing dentals. However, I did. So I was all about it. Right. And I went in, I gave it my all. Every job, every career choice that I took or path, I gave everything my all. I really did. I never wanted to not shine in something that I was investing in, right? I invested in myself. I invested in these careers, in these the choices in my path that I took, right? And I was so proud of myself because I was a single mom with two boys. I had my own place. I was really, doing all the things that I needed to do. I had gotten remarried, and to a great guy who I actually got to go to his wedding. We are now divorced. I am on my third marriage, but third one's a charm, right? But we went to, he was there, and he loved dancing. He was a country dancer, really. So he got to learn a couple of the different ballroom dances through me. And that was fun. He was a great man. I really enjoyed, having him in my life. It just wasn't meant to be. And it was very rushed. And I didn't learn my lesson the first time in my first marriage to not rush into things. Cause here I had this gentleman that was very respectful, that would open the door for me, that just was there for me hands down, very romantic, and was just all about me. And I felt like he needed to be about him too. And he was in the military, and it was like that was just a really big struggle. And he was younger than me. He needed to have his own kids, and I couldn't have any more kids. I mean, I'm giving you all the excuses, but it really just stemmed down to the fact that we just weren't meant to be after all. And I'm still friends with him. He's still a great person, and he's still a part of my life, and part of the boys' life too. So that's awesome. And his new wife is amazing. I love her, and I think they're perfect together. So that was really cool that I got to be there for that. But so anyway, I was proud of myself because even though I had gotten remarried, I was still paying for a lot of it. And then when we did get divorced, I was paying for all the things again, and I was a single mom again. And so this time I had told myself, look, I'm going to slow down with relationships. So I wasn't in a relationship for quite a while after him. I dated here and there, but nothing really serious. And then let's see, what did I do? I was a vet tech for quite a while, and I left being a vet tech. And a whole another story why that happened. I'm not going to get into that. But it just wasn't the right place for me once, some new people had come in. So I decided to break away from that. And I ended up moving to Burleson anyway. So that was going to be too much of a haul. So I found a job in Mansfield, actually, where I was a U.S. underwater service sales rep. I was calling mayors and cities, and I was getting all of the information that they needed for the different jobs that were needed. We also did offshore and inshore accounts, or we had those accounts. And it's been a minute since I've talked about that, so I may not be saying the verbiage all that well. But yeah, I love sales. Like, I always wanted to go into sales, so that's what I did. And again, helping other people, right? Helping make sure that y'all's water was, and that's such not a word, but yeah, I made sure everybody had clean water by calling the cities and saying, hey, it's time for your inspection. We'd like to go ahead and put a bid in for it. So that was a lot of awesome things. Oh, we are going on a quick break. So I will see you guys in just a little bit with more. I've got plenty more. So stay tuned. See you in a bit.
At Romika Designs, we're more than just a laser engraving and specialty design company. Much more. I'm Ron Phillips, co-owner of Romika Designs, and if you can dream it, we can probably make it. We can custom laser cut and engrave on nearly all material. Great for one-of-a-kind gifts, home decor, business and specialty items, or personalized and logoed designs created just for you or your company. Allow us to become your go-to gift and specialty project partner. Romika Designs can help make your ideas a reality. We're ready to help you design and create that special gift for any occasion or engrave your personal or business logo on just about any product. View our designs at romikadesigns.com or simply email us with your ideas. We specialize in custom design and would be honored to have the opportunity to discuss it with you. Call us at 817-400-4040, email info@romikadesigns.com, or visit us on the web at romikadesigns.com.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395.
Out of deck carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the Floor Store in Cleburne, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you for the Floor Store. Whether it's carpet, tile, wood flooring, or real wood laminate, the Floor Store can cover all of your flooring needs. Located at 405 West Henderson Street in Cleburne, Texas, owner Brent Harris can help. Shower tile, tub surrounds, even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The Floor Store, they got you covered.
You're listening to Joco Community Radio.
All right. Welcome back to Positivity Toolbox, where you're learning all about Lady Diana, life coach. Oh, I can't talk now. Joco Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is live 24/7 on the TuneIn Radio Network. TuneInJoco.com is the place to find all the ways to listen and watch, and the station app is also available for free on Android and Apple devices. Simply search your store. Check out our lineup and more at JocoCommunityRadio.com. This episode and more brought to you by Next Level Claims, making your insurance work for you. Reach out to your Texas sales rep at 844-839-4245. Again, that's 844-839-4245. And be sure to dress your arms and more at thetiffy.com. We love her sleeves. They're super cute. All right. Hi, welcome back. Thank you guys for staying tuned. I have more to share with you guys. So while we were on break, honestly, I remembered another position that I did have. I worked at the Cleburne Fitness Center, and I started the Silver Sneakers program there, which was super cool. Loved working with the seniors that would come in. They were super sweet, very educational. Man, they just loved and adored just coming and sharing with me some life lessons or some life situations that they had. And they were so sweet. I love them. Like, they were my favorite. And I taught water aerobics to them too. So I spent a lot of time with the seniors at Cleburne Fitness Center. And that was one of my favorites. That was one of my favorite jobs, I would have to say, other than ballroom dancing. So I did forget about that one. Oh my goodness. But that one was super fun. Then, all right, so we're going back again. Then from there, that's when I worked at the vet clinic. Then from the vet, no, I take that back. That's first ballroom, and then the vet clinic. And then now I'm working at U.S. Underwater Services as their sales rep. And that was a really fun job. That is where I had met, a gentleman that was awesome, was really good. We went out for a while, and but it just wasn't meant to be. So we kind of ended things. And then I got with my husband now. Like, that's when my husband met me. And he I took it really slow with him. We've been together 11 years now, and we've been married for 6. So a long time. I've been with him the longest out of all of my relationships, not marriage, but all of them. So, um, but yeah, he was great. He swept me off my feet. Um, we had our ups and downs. We had some rocky stuff going on too, but for some reason, I didn't give up. Like we didn't give up. We kept going and we kept working towards our goals and working towards staying together and making a life with one another. So that's we're still here. So when I got with him, I was still working at U.S. Underwater Services. Well, he got an oil rig job out in um oh, what was over in Midland area. I think that's where it was. And so he moved out there basically because he was out there more. And it was like a hard commute going back and forth, especially with work. And he wanted, to see me more. So I wanted to possibly go back to school. So I was going to try to get some of these classes in with computers and learning how to, really do like spread Excel sheets and things like that. So I started to kind of dabble into some learning and some college stuff on that, or not college, but school stuff on that, and was teaching myself not only, but learning from an instructor. So that was awesome because I really wanted to learn a lot about that. And there's so much that has changed. I couldn't even tell you how to do a lot of that stuff at this point. I can and I can't. Like it's a lot of it has changed since I did that. But after that, I decided to go into. We moved back to he moved back here and got a job out here doing HVAC. And oh gosh, what did I'm trying to think. This is a lot, guys. I did a lot, too much maybe, but I loved it. I loved every opportunity, every experience that I had. It was life changing, and it really gave me just more of an outlook and an experience on life and all the different things that others are doing, so that I can maybe be a little bit more understanding in some of those senses, right? Like, okay, I've been in the office work. I'm an entrepreneur. So I've experienced a lot of those, right? So I can relate. I'm relatable. So after we moved back to Burleson, I went to Honda of Fort Worth and I started selling cars because my mom was like, Dinah, you just need to go sell cars. You just need to go sell cars. So sorry, I'm at home. So I went to Honda of Fort Worth. I didn't know a whole lot. I knew a little bit about cars, enough to get me in trouble, I guess is what they call it. Right. But I knew enough to just in sales alone, just how to be relatable to the client, how to, listen to what their needs and what their wants are, and then find that, right? I knew that's what I needed to do. So I went in there, and 2 weeks after being at Honda of Fort Worth, I was already at 20 sales, 20 car sales. So I felt really good about this, and my management felt really good about having me there, and moved me up into internet sales. So that was awesome. So I did really well at Honda Fort Worth. The only thing that I felt was the hardship there was the timing and the amount of the lack of time that I had with my family. I I have a tendency, like my mom, to want to work. And when we work, we're hard workers. We put all of it in, right? Like I was telling you before, when I go into something, I go all in. And so I was spending way too much time up there. I wanted my days off, and that was really challenging to get days off or even additional days off. And so that was a real struggle for me. So I decided to get closer to home. I was like, maybe if I get closer to home, it won't take me so long to commute and I'll have a little bit extra time there. So I moved from Honda of Fort Worth over to Honda of Burleson, where they were transitioning from management right when I came back. So that was a little challenging, but I still maintained it and kept it going as best as possible. I did have a little bit more of freedom, not as much, because with the changing of management, that kind of can put a little damper too on sales, on any kind of sales position that you're in. So but I kept going, and I kept doing it. Well, I was getting burnout. My burnout was happening because I was there all the time. Still, I was missing time with my kids. My husband was trying to take care of them, taking them here, having fun times with them. And I wanted my weekends with them. I wanted my time with them. So I decided that I was going to go back to school to get my real estate license because I had met a realtor at Honda of Burleson who was like, you should do this. You'd be so great, and this is what I do. This is how it works out for me. And he gave me all the ins and outs. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to look into this. So I got a job at an office as an office coordinator. That's what they called us, office coordinator at New Western Acquisitions, where they had realtors that had their license that were not really doing real estate. They were more or less working with investors. So if you're an investor, New Western can find a lot of those, properties for you. But I was working there, and that was an experience. That was fun. And I got to hear more realtors and their positions, because realtors would come in wanting to work with those realtors to help them find off-market properties and, for their investors, or work together, kind of team up, partner up, what you will. And I still, partner up with the majority of them now too, after I got my real estate license. But that's when I went ahead and started to go to school and get my real estate license. And so it was getting challenging with the school, and it seemed to be taking me longer while working. So I wasn't working there anymore. I was just focusing on school there for a little bit while my husband was working and taking care of us, which was great. So once I got my real estate license, that's when things really started to kick off. That's when I was really becoming the entrepreneur, the woman I think that I was meant to be. And I loved helping other people. I loved getting their houses ready. I loved showing houses, and I still do. And so that was incredible for me, to be able to have this new endeavor, this new opportunity, and this serious, full-time career position where I finally found where I was meant to be. I felt, and so I was really helping. And even in being in real estate, you have couples, and you'll have one that wants this, the other one wants that. So it's kind of, you kind of have to be the middle person, okay, well, let's look at it this way. You could always do this, or, and give them a different perspective, a different viewpoint. So there was a little bit of a counseling kind of sometimes that happens in real estate as well, and being a realtor and working with buyers and sellers, even, I would say, because you're coaching them, right? You're providing them the information that is needed in order for them to be able to make the right choices, right? So they're not losing money, or they're able to gain money with their with what they've invested in, right? Because every house that you purchase is an investment, and you want to have that come back right afterwards. So that's what I wanted to make sure I was providing. So certifications. I forgot about some of my certifications. So I was certified as an aerobics instructor. I was always CPR certified. I was aerobics certified with 24 Hour Fitness, as well as Cooper Institute in Dallas. So I've had a lot of different education too, which was very fun for me as well, because I got to learn, and I was really I was able to be a professional in everything that I did, because I was now learning to be an expert, right? Everything in life is learning. You want to learn. If you're not learning something, you're not living. And I know I say this a lot, but it's true. It's very true. You want to keep learning. That's why even in real estate, there's continuing education. Even as a life coach, there's continuing education. You want to continue learning and hearing things. And I listen to a lot of Audible books that are going to provide great information from psychiatrists, counselors, that are really providing the information on the human psyche, and, learning about negotiating. I have this amazing book that's teaching me about my negotiation skills and how to improve that, by an previous FBI agent that's now in real estate. It's crazy. It's so cool. I really like listening to him. Or sales. No, I think he's in sales, not real estate. But it's such a great book, and it's again, learning. So I did a lot of learning throughout every career that I had. I had to learn something new, right? I had to have some kind of education in order to be an expert. When I came into real estate, I had done a lot of, courses. I had taken a lot of different classes, either through the title companies or through actual real estate school to just get my continued education. But one of the best things that I did was going to boot camp, expert advisor boot camp. That was so incredible. I really enjoyed the education and the knowledge base that was provided to me, because that really helped me better understand how I can be more professional in my real estate career, but not only professional, more knowledgeable in the market, more knowledgeable in the statistics, more knowledgeable in making sure that my clients aren't losing money, or they're able to gain and not lose, right? And so that was a really amazing certification, I feel, that I received here recently. And I know it's just going to expand my career that much more. And I will tell you too, one of the things that I learned in being in real estate was getting the right broker. And that's not going to happen the first initial time. It doesn't always. Like, that's very rare that you find the right broker to be with. It took me a little bit to achieve finding the right one. And I'm with the right one right now. I'm not going anywhere with him. And I want to continue my real estate always. I love, again, helping others. And if I can, even if it's coaching them in real estate, that's fine with me. However, the reason I started this podcast and the reason I started educating myself and getting certified in life coaching is I've always wanted, again, if you go back to my past, you can see everything that I did was to lead me up to here, was to lead me up to where I am today. And that was to learn that I love being there for other people. I love helping them. I love being a guide. I love, coaching myself. This radio show was not just for everybody else. It was for me too. It was for me to be able to continue on my journey and continue being a positive human being, and being that is just this light that wants to continue to be a source for those that are maybe struggling or in living in darkness, or living in depression, or living in, I don't know how to change my life. I don't know how to get up and get out there and do something different. I need that push, that motivation, that drive. And I needed that. So when I started this, I was just seeing how many of my friends and how many of the people that were in my life that just, they loved having me around, because they felt that I was this calmness in their storm. And somebody even put it like that to me. And that meant a lot to me. So when I was hearing this and when I was seeing this, and it was being created, it was already being created around me. It was already happening. And I just had to say, you know what? I had a plan and when I was going to get that started. However, our plans are not always the right plan, right? We may have planned that out too far out. It was really pulling and tugging at me that I just needed to get it started. And that's when I started it. And it has been incredible since then. And I'm still learning. I still have another life coach that I'm listening to now. I have two actually now. Thank you, Drew, if you're listening. He wanted me to come on here and talk about all the things that I had done. And there's still like a lot more, but that's more like things that I've done active wise. So working out is still a huge impact in my life. It's still a huge thing that I incorporate in my life daily. And that's something that I also want to help promote and put out there too into the world. So again, that's why I have this podcast, or not radio show / podcast. Because some of you are watching me live and some of you just listening. And so I've learned how to dance, right? So dancing is huge for me. I've learned how to belly dance, which was a lot of fun. I love that. And I have a friend that does it, and I can't wait to get some more knowledge based on that from her. And then I have, oh gosh, what is it called? I can't think of it now. It's where you throw the disc. If you are listening and you know what I'm talking about, it's like where you throw the disc into one of those little, looks like a round bowl that sits up. Oh my gosh, it's going to come to me, guys. It will come to me and it will be later. But I learned how to do that, and I love doing that. Like, you can go to so many different parks and you take your different discs with you. and you're throwing your disc and trying to make it into the basket. And I think there was one time where I was up at the highest of the, like on a hill, and you had to throw it downwards. And it kind of like did this like little, like, you know, the windy roads, like 917, right? It was kind of like a 917 kind of situation until you got to the basket. And I drove that disc all the way into the basket from up the hill. I was so proud of myself. I was so ecstatic. I was like, oh, that was the first time and the only time that ever happened, by the way. Other times it took me 2 to 3 times to get there, sometimes 4. Okay. It's like golf, disc golf, disc golf. Yes. Thank you, Damon. Yes. I love disc golf. I still have all my discs. I hope to get back in and do that again this year. I would be super excited to do so. And so yeah, I did that. I've jumped out of airplanes. Yep. I've been skydiving a couple of times and I loved it. The first time I went, so my husband has had, I think he's at 90 or 80, somewhere around 80, 90 jumps that he's done himself. His brothers jumped 600 times. So when they got really into this, they were doing the brother thing and they were going, and they always invited me to go. And I was like, you need to do it. I'm afraid of heights, terrified. Well, I was terrified of heights. I was like, there ain't no way you're getting me on that plane. Nope, not doing it. Well, I kept going with them and I kept watching all the tandems coming down, which is, you know, where you get strapped on to an instructor that has had over 2,000 or more jumps with themselves and tandem. So you can feel comfortable in that. Just, okay, feel comfortable in that because they know what they're doing. So they highly train you on how you're going to be strapped onto them. And so I'm watching this happen, you know, for a couple of times. And this one time I go with him, I'm sitting out there and I'm really looking at the people's faces that are coming down. And every single one of them came down with a smile on their face, so excited, like they were glowing. Okay. Glowing. So I looked at my husband when he walked over to me, because that was when he was coming down with them. And I said, I'm going to go. I'm going to do this. Let's do it right now. And so he goes, okay, are you sure? I was like, yeah, I'm sure. Let's go, before I changed my mind. So we went, signed me up, and I went that day. He's like, okay, well, you're not backing out, so we're going right now. I was like, okay, let's go. So I'm getting strapped on to the, you know, well, he's showing me all the things and we're getting on the plane. I didn't get strapped onto him yet. Wait, hold on. So we walk over to the plane. I'm walking up to the plane. I'm getting excited. And my husband told me, he was like, the one thing that I need you to remember to do, babe, is to breathe. Just breathe. Okay. Especially when you're coming out of the plane, make sure you're breathing. Okay. Otherwise you're going to pass out. I was like, oh, don't tell me that. So I get on the plane and I am so excited. Like, I'm breathing. I'm getting very excited. And I'm looking at all the people that are also with me that are tandem. There were 2 other guys that were there. I think it was father and son, and they looked terrified. They were not thrilled that I looked that happy. And I was hugging everybody and excited. And I got my excitement so up that by the time we were getting out of the plane and I was coming out with the instructor, you know, I knew what I was supposed to do, and I was getting ready. I had it memorized, had it in my head how I was going to come out of this airplane. And I'm coming out, and what happened? Okay, so I forgot to tuck my chin in. That was the one thing I forgot to do, was tuck my chin in. So if you leave your head out, the wind hits you so forcefully that it can take your breath away. So it took my breath away for a minute, but then I was like, oh, breathe. My husband's voice popped in my head. Breathe, babe, breathe. So I started breathing, and it was fine. And I enjoyed every bit of that experience. Jumping out of an airplane was one of the best things that I have ever done. I think, other than having my kids, of course, having those 2 beautiful boys, and in experiencing life, you know, I just experienced life. But man, it was a rush. But not only was it a rush, it was peaceful. It was the most serene and peaceful event that I had ever put myself in, that I'd ever allowed myself to embrace and get over my fear and come out of that comfort zone. And that was a learning experience for me too. It was like, you know what? If I can break out of that fear of heights and jump out of an airplane and experience that much peace, joy, and happiness in my life in just that one moment, think about how many more moments I could live and have if I would put my fear aside and not let fear creep in and take over, and just live my best life daily. And that's when things hit. that is when my life shifted in a whole different. And if you haven't seen Will Smith's video, in fact, you know what? I'm going to put my video. I have a video. My brother-in-law was already where he was able to have a GoPro, so he recorded me coming out on my first one. And I'm gonna put that out on my YouTube channel once I have some stuff on there and launching it. So make sure to keep an eye out for my YouTube channel. I'm gonna have guided meditation. I'm gonna have little tidbits, tips, and tricks to keep a positive mindset, and I'll have some awesome things on there so you can subscribe to it very soon. It's coming soon, yay! But yeah, I'll put that on there because Will Smith, when he posted his video, it had such a huge impact even on me. Because that was after I'd already jumped out of a plane. So I was so relatable to all the things that he was saying about his experience. So I'm serious. If it is on your bucket list to jump out of an airplane and get over your fear, do it. Just do it. Don't hold yourself back. We are limitless. We are limitless. There is nothing we cannot do. It's all in our head that's telling us we can't do things. Now, am I telling you to go jump off of a building thinking you can fly? Please have a wingsuit on first and make sure you know how to use it. And I think for a wingsuit, actually, it's a good point. For a wingsuit, you have to have 200 jumps to be able to have a wingsuit. So if you want to fly like a bird, you can do it. Again, you're not limitless. You just need a wingsuit, okay? Have the proper equipment on when trying to fly. And then the bungee jumping, I have not bungee jumped. I really don't know if I want to bungee jump because, okay, so coming out of an airplane is different than bungee jumping. Bungee jumping, you actually do feel it in your gut because you are falling. Okay, when you're coming out of an airplane, you're coming while the plane is still moving. So the plane's moving and you're coming at an angle and still going down at an angle, so you're not falling. It is not a falling feeling. You do not feel it in your stomach. None of that. You just need to make sure you're breathing so you don't pass out. Okay, that's all. That's all I have to say. So yeah, that was coming out of your fear. Break out of your fear. And I've done a lot more things where I've broken out of my fear. So, I still had, even though jumping out of an airplane, getting on ladders has still been a challenge for me. I went to work with my husband and, he does HVAC and he was doing a construction site. And I went out there to help him with the duct work and put thermostats on. So yes, I know construction work as well. I can do taping and bedding. I'm not that great at it. If Thomas is listening, yeah, I'm not that great at it, but I do my best. I'm not bad. I'm not terrible. And I know how to do some construction work too because of that. But getting up and down that ladder on some of those the high ladder that he had, oh my gosh, it was still a struggle for me. I'm not even gonna lie, but I did it. I got up there, and again, it's just over. It's not letting your fear take over your life, and that's a lot of times what we do. We let our fear take over and prevent us from living life. And I'm a prime example of just coming out of your comfort zone, coming out of your shell, doing something different. Like when I went into the car business, I had no idea what I was doing when I went into the car business. I think, Damien, you can contest to that. You knew me then. But yeah, coming out of my comfort zone, like I didn't know how to sell a car. But man, when I got out there, I was talking to people. I was enjoying getting to know them. I was asking the right questions, and I helped them find the right car for them. And that's how I did so great at selling cars. So that's the end of today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful week. Live your best life. I'll stay tuned. Till next time.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, Joco Community Radio.
Hey travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares